A girl who is half Japanese and half Britannian, and the ace pilot of the Black Knight. Britannian? I don't know.
You're fine.
Okay.
Cue music.
Cue music. Hello and welcome to Soulmates, where we talk about all our favorite little guys and all our favorite little games. I'm Ivy Fox. You can find me at Ivy Fox Art on co-host. You can find our sister podcast, Together We'll Shine, on Podbeam. Link is in the show notes. Joining me as always is Ash.
Hi, it's Ash. We're doing a real loose episode of Soulmates today. It's also an extra cozy episode, because I'm under a big flannel blanket because I'm a little sick. You can find me on Ko-Fi at Asherlark. You can find me basically nowhere else on the internet, but you can always find the show on co-host at soul-mates-podcast on cohost.org. I know the domain name now. And you can support the show and help us pay for hosting and stuff by going to Ivy Fox Art on Ko-Fi.
I dropped a donation incentive in the middle of the last episode, the bonus episode, but I don't remember what it is. So I just remember that Ash got really mad at me for dropping it in the middle of this awful bonus episode.
Wait, you do remember what it is?
I don't. What was it?
Are you doing a bit?
No, I
Are you telling
genuinely
people
don't
to
remember.
go to the Ko-Fi to learn what the donation incentive is?
I just don't remember what I said.
Oh, well, you can...
I just remember I said something.
Something about writing fanfiction.
Oh, yeah, right. Give me like $10, I'll write you a little 500-word microfic about a Mahjong Soul character. Something like that.
Yeah.
Give us money. Or don't.
Give us money.
That's fine. You can just listen. You can do whatever you want. What am I on? Sorry, this is a loose episode. The loose episode.
The loose episode.
Oh, right, there's more to the intro. Our theme is by Sueños Electronicos, so you can find on Bandcamp. Our cover art by Rygaard, you can find on Instagram. I guess I can't read the intro not in a weird voice today. This season, we're talking about the characters from Mahjong Soul by Yostar and Cat Food Studios, a blend of cute, appealing anime girls with classical Japanese Mahjong. And there was no mine.
How are you, Ivy?
I guess I'm feeling really annoying today.
I figured I'd flip the script on you, because usually after you finish reading the intro, I sit there in silence until you initiate a conversation with me. But I figured I would start our pre-show banter this time.
Thanks, I really appreciate that.
Take some of the pressure off of you. Given that you're having a weird one today.
I did so much walking today. My day was filled with walking. My day was filled with walking and also, like, taking a shower in where I work because I had to hang out for half an hour.
I see.
And so I just asked my employer, who is also my friend, to be clear, but is also the person who employs me, if I could take a shower. And she said yes, and it was nice. And then I did a lot of walking because the subway was shut down. My life is so hard.
Your life is so hard.
My life is so hard. Boo-hoo. At least my country isn't colonized by Britannia and has its name stripped and identity stripped from it and is called fucking District 12 or whatever.
Nope, but good job. I informed Ivy about the lore of Code Geass before the show started, but for our uneducated listeners, Code Geass is a show about a guy with the power to order people to do whatever he wants, and he uses that power to try and rescue the nation formerly known as Japan from the colonial power of Britannia, alongside a bunch of Japanese freedom fighters. Also, there are mechs. This
wild.
character is a mech pilot, and
Good
a
for
Japanese
her.
freedom fighter.
She's a banging voice actress.
She
I listened to
does.
the lines because Ash told me to listen to the lines. I asked Ash if I ask it. I cannot get your name
You can
right
do it. I
live
believe
on
in you.
air nowadays. Hey, you can. Speaking of getting things wrong on air, hey, you can follow along and look at these images with us. A thing nobody does. At mahjongsoul.club/content// I can't even get the. It's not even a letter yet. Part of this is because I'm putting tiny little bits of Swiss roll in my mouth.
Wait, why are you doing that?
Because I'm hungry.
I guess.
It's a loose episode. mahjongsoul.club/content/KALLENKOUZUKI.
The Z coming out.
I got caught up on the Z because I was like, if I say Z, someone's gonna say something about it.
That's me. I'm here to say something about it.
That's why Ash is on the show. One, because it's their show, but two is to make fun of me for being Canadian.
Yep.
Wow. Even though my country is colonized by Britannia, you would do this to me?
There's a better incentive than usual to look at this page on mahjongsoul.club this episode. And it's because it only has a little over 7,000 hits. This is not a lot of people are looking at the page for Callan Kozuki. And I think that you could join us in driving up the reads on Callan Kozuki's page.
Now that we know that this website ranks everything, suddenly hyper aware of how things rank.
Yeah.
Hang on, let me just check like a random, fairly popular. What's like Ichihime? How many hits on Ichihime? When the page loads, which it never will. Anyway,
No.
we'll find out when
We'll
the
be
page
stuck here
loads.
forever.
Anyway,
I have seen Code Geass. Ivy has not seen Code Geass. Code Geass is a pretty good show. Code Geass is mentioned relatively frequently, I guess, on our sister podcast, Together We'll Shine, because it might be Utena. And
Yeah,
I think that's kind of funny.
I've only heard about this show, one, from Soup. You're all aware.
You're all
familiar
aware
with
of the soup store?
Yeah, we're all aware of the Soup store, where you go to buy your clothes. A thing which I am inextricably tied to on the internet for reasons that are far too complex to explain.
Awesome, I'll ask you later.
You don't know about Soup? We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later.
And also, the only time I've seriously talked about this show has been in the context of someone comparing it to Utena for various reasons. Even though
You can
every
say
time
her name. Pandora.
you also have
Not
done
just-
this.
I mean, oh, okay. Well, only because Pandora's done it.
Fucking Pandora.
Fucking Pandora.
Shout out to Pandora. Pandora's working very hard on our sister podcast, Together We'll Shine and Utena Rewatch podcast. Anyway, I don't know what's going on, but
How many
this-
hits does Ichihime's page have?
36,000 and change.
There we go.
There we go.
Should we get started?
We should. Wow, she is really long.
Yeah, she's also Soup. In the sense that Soup now, to me, means a character who has really freakishly long legs. And looks like they're from Code Geass.
Uh-huh. Do they have thigh squishes in Code Geass? First question.
I do not feel like they do.
This is the first thing I noticed.
But this image does have them.
They've added thigh squishes to her.
Quick note. The bottom of this page, instead of saying Kellen Kozuki's default look, just says, this is default look.
Uh-huh.
Nameless. Like from Kingdom Hearts.
Like the country of Japan.
Like the country of Japan after being colonized by Britannia using mechs. This school uniform is genuinely pretty interesting to look at, which is a blessing, because otherwise we would have nothing to say.
Uh-huh. The problem is that I have to, hang on, if I F11, can I fit her all on my monitor? Not quite.
The only thing... what happens on my monitor is from the top of her skirt to the bottom of her shoes, basically I can fit that much on the screen at once. So it's like either I'm looking at from the top of her head to mid-thigh, or I'm just looking at her legs and nothing else is on the screen.
Uh-huh.
I'll send you a screenshot. It's comical.
Uh-huh. Damn. Are you
It looks like this.
Hey Ash, are you a legs man or a upper part
the rest
of the upper half
woman
of the
guy?
Yeah.
Gotta say, it's the upper half of the woman for me.
Wow. Look who's a woman respecter.
Mm-hmm. The legs are so long. This isn't a Mahjong Soul problem this time. It's just how Code Geass is.
Uh-huh.
She's wearing some very boring black shoes and white stockings with little thigh squishes, and so we don't need to look at her legs anymore.
I am measuring out the legs with my fingers and then scrolling up and then comparing it to the... And her legs are about 1.5 times longer than her torso.
I know.
And now I'm self-conscious and I'm looking at my own legs and I'm like, how long are my legs? How deep are your legs?
How deep is your legs?
Maybe that's... It's not that disproportionate. She just looks weird to me.
This is not how long people's legs are. Her school uniform...
Her spine isn't that long, so we can't say the funny thing, which is unfortunate.
Dang it! Well... We'll have to find another episode title.
I don't even remember what it was, because I don't remember the name of the painting, but that's okay.
Okay, great. Well, I won't say it.
Right.
Her school uniform is black and sort of a pale straw and gold and green.
Mm-hmm.
She's got
it's double-breasted.
Yeah, it is double-breasted, and it's got a big old non-functional belt around the waist.
It kind of looks it looks a little bit like a double-breasted kind of longer jacket.
Yeah,
but also kind of like the top of a chef uniform. And it has a little sort of gold-buckled belt.
Attached to the... Not to do with her skirt at all. Attached to the upper... Attached to her top. Not holding anything up as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
The coat extends below the belt part, but it has a belt on it, and it's fucked up to me.
Uh-huh. It has little, sleeves, that are black. It's like the skirt. It's the only part of the
cuffs.
top that are, little cuffs. There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It has this fucking, is this in the show? This fucking thing that boobs do in anime where,
yes.
The uniform is finely fitted around her boobs.
Yes.
It's tailored around her boobs so that her boobs can hang prominently over the uniform. The way clothes don't work.
You can imagine just extricating her from this shirt and there's still a rounded area for boob to go. in the empty shirt.
Uh-huh.
You know, like they do in anime.
Yeah, like they do in anime. And then she has a little very short tie that is going over the coat, which I think is funny. That has a little... Is this a fleur? This isn't a fleur-de-lis, but it's fleur-de-lis.
It's basically a fleur-de-lis.
Uh-huh, which is funny because this is supposed to be Britannia, but either way.
It's just like Europe.
I thought you were going to say
And they're
Yuri.
in Japan.
Yeah. It has a little fleur, and then it's her face. It's a little bit too sharp for comfort.
That's how they draw people. I like a sharp face. It brings me joy. I like the way she looks, but maybe this is just because I've watched too much Code Geass.
Code Geass poisoned. Sharp face, sharp hair. She's looking at me like she's very disappointed with me. Her arms are crossed across the area of her shirt that is below the area in which her boobs extrude. Below the boob extrusion.
I think it's really... We'll get to this when we talk about the emotes. I think it's really funny how much the boob protrusion is not only just a part of how this image is drawn, but is apparently just in her character design. Like, she has a half-body emote in which you can just see the boob protrusion prominently.
Oh, yeah. Huh.
It's emote for the 5th emote, if you're wondering.
Right. We'll get there. I mean, maybe we'll get there right now, because there's not that much to talk about.
She's got big blue eyes.
She does have big blue eyes. Shoutouts. This, I guess, is because she's half Britannian.
Yeah.
This school uniform is more interesting than most school uniforms.
It is, because it's weird.
Because it is weird. It's this weird double-breasted fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have that much more to say about it, though.
No, I kind of, here's my reach to give us, like, one more thing to say about it. It's just that it's got, like, wide shoulders that make it look like it has shoulder pads.
Yeah, I was noticing that. It does look like it has shoulder pads.
This may just be how they're drawn, though.
Pointy.
I love it when they're pointy. This brings me great joy. The shoulder pads are not prominent in the emotes, though, so there's a couple places you can see them. Emotes?
Alright. Emote 0, the first emote. She... Is it going to... Why is site load slow today? She drank a little bubble tea. She drank a little bubble tea, and she's got sort of, like, slightly chubby cheeks in this, and she's kind of giving you the side eye.
She's got one eyebrow raised.
Oh, yeah. She's got one eyebrow raised. Her eyebrows are doing a little wiggle thing. She drank a little bubble tea.
This, like, the look of disdain is actually quite good, I think.
Yeah, this is a genuinely charming emote.
I would use this in an outside of Mahjong Soul context in order to express disdain and /or disbelief.
I do. So you've said this a couple times now, is I would use this outside of Mahjong Soul. Do you mean this in the sense of, like, I would use this as, like, a Discord sticker or whatever? Or do you mean this in the sense of, like, I would do this to someone? I would give someone a bubble tea side-eye.
The former, but I would also give someone a bubble tea side-eye. I think I have, in fact. I'm great at prop work in my daily life, which is, of course, all comedy. And I would give someone a bubble tea side-eye.
Agreed.
This is...
Me as
her
well.
emote set, in general, is, like, a back and forth between, the bit that she's doing, which is that she's, like, a nice schoolgirl, who's dignified and Britannian and not Japanese at all, and that she's actually, like, a rough and tumble rebel who doesn't care about any of this. This is, like, a mix between the two to me, where it could be like, I'm superior to you, and it also could be like, fuck are you on?
Uh-huh.
I like it.
Yeah. Fond of it. Next one.
Emote 1, the second emote. This is fully in the I'm just a nice schoolgirl zone. Her eyes are shinier than normal and so big. She's giving you a kind, open-mouthed smile, facing straight forward, and doing a little wave. Oh, look how sweet I am. Look how nice I am. Hi.
This is the most normal hand we've ever seen in an emote.
Oh my god, you're right.
Normally hands in emotes are these fucked up little kind of like expressionist blobs. And this is like a hand. It's still kind of fucked up. In fact, the fact that it's more like a hand makes it easier to notice the ways in which the fingers are kind of a mess.
Going the wrong way. This is how people draw hands.
But it is like a hand fully formed. Just very slightly freaking me out.
She's got a couple more hands in her emotes, but I think one of them is also a good hand, and then the other two are expressionist blobs.
I like this emote. I don't know if it works if you don't know her bit, which I do, having listened to her voice lines. But if you do know her bit, I actually quite like it in that it's just like, it's so placid that you can really feel, even in this tiny emote, that her kind of heart isn't in it. It feels very empty and performative. Yeah,
it's super, like, it's bland, but there's a reason why.
Yeah.
I think this combos well. Like, you can't expect people who are coming into your Mahjong match with you to understand the bit of Colin Kozuki from Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion. But what you can do is you can send this emote at the start of the game and then follow it up immediately with the next emote. Just to establish a baseline.
Truly, it gives you the tools to roleplay.
You are Colin Kozuki.
You are Colin Kozuki. Be Colin Kozuki. Play Mahjong, ?
Play Mahjong? Be the Colin Kozuki you want to see in the world. Next emote?
Are there any chess gacha games?
Well, now I'm looking that up while you describe this.
They're like competitive online chess anime girl gacha games. Anyway, in this next emote, she is mad at you. Her eyebrows are furrowed. Her eyes have been reduced to like black dots with no whites, with like, sort of cut in half by the top line. She's looking to the sides. She's doing kind of a ch, she's doing kind of a ch, or a ch, maybe it's a ch. And then in the direction she's looking, there are some sort of like black squiggles of anger and despair coming off of her. She's unhappy with the situation. She thinks she's better than you, but she's kind of like, she's gritting her teeth a little bit. It's reasonably effective. I'm happy with it.
So, gacha chess.
Two things.
Two things I've learned. One of which is you can go to gachachess.io and learn about this. This is a Squarespace built website, and you can tell it's got a contact us at the bottom. And the contact us info is either info@gotchachess.com, the phone number is 123-456-7890, and the address is 123 Chess Street, Cityville. But it's a revolutionary online chess game that combines the classic game of chess with gacha mechanics. Much like how Mahjong Soul is a blend of cute, appealing anime girls and classical Japanese Mahjong. The thing is that I don't genuinely believe that gachachess.io is real. You can't there's nothing on this website other than just the idea of gacha chess. So, gacha chess is not a real thing. There is, however, Fez Chess. Which is a real app that you can download from April 12th, 2022 with 100 plus downloads.
Wow. 100.
Which you can combine your chess pieces and get gacha summon chess pieces and 30 plus characters and get obliterated by the computer. There's also a lot of, stuff, if you look up chess gacha, about auto chess, which is not chess. Auto chess is I want to say a League of Legends thing?
I would say that the biggest why do I know this? The biggest auto chess game is probably League of Legends auto chess.
Yeah.
But auto chess is just like its own genre, basically.
But isn't it originated from League of Legends auto chess?
No, it's originally a Dota thing. It's
okay.
Yeah.
Dota auto chess. I see.
Mm-hmm.
The comprehender. This has nothing to do with Kallen Gozuki.
It might actually predate Dota, but that's sort of Anyway, this has nothing to do with Kozuki.
I really like this third emote, obviously, because I just suggested using it in combo with the second emote. It's such a strong, it has every possible marker of not being happy to be here, which is really amusing to me. She's got the little eyes, she's got the little mouth, she's got the giant, angry swirls. It's this is the most representative of her personality to me. And I like it. Once again, I would use this.
I just like it because it does a really good job. A thing I really like when they do in emotes of indicating a physical motion in ways that are sort of subtle. It is very clear that she has sort of swung her head to the side and gone.
Yeah, she's turned her head away.
She's turned her head away from you, and it doesn't need motion lines to do that. And that makes me happy personally.
Yeah, it is quite pleasing.
It's just satisfying to me.
Just a subtle positioning thing. I quite like it. Her fourth emote is boring. And she she's looking off to the right, her eyes are closed, and she's got a pleasant little smile, and she's got a little music note. She's just pleased, she's happy. Her arms are kind of swung out to the side, but you can't really see them because it's only a half body like normal. Her head is tilted up a little bit. This is theoretically useful in the same way that Emote 2 is, just in terms of things which make her look nice and normal. But this isn't... Emote 2 looks disingenuous. This one just looks genuine, and therefore isn't really interesting to me.
Her smile is kind of fucking me up. It's
Is
weirdly angular. It looks weird to me. It makes me slightly uncomfortable.
Open image in new
tab. Why? Open image in new tab, please.
Oh, I guess you're right. When you look at it like this, it's also she's got a little eyeshadow kind of, or something.
Bags under her eyes, very slightly, and a little bit of eyeshadow. And there's something just very slightly ominous about it. That is a little off-putting. She's humming a single eighth note, which is fucked up.
That's just how they indicate things. I don't know why we keep having this conversation. A single eighth note is just this. You're wrong.
I didn't know that this was such.
We've had this conversation before. Where you're like, oh, it's like, it's an eighth note, which that's just the music note that people use to say a music note.
I didn't know this was such a deeply held conflict in our relationship for you. If it causes you genuine to be clear, I am joking. I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree with you. I do think you're in the right here, but just to be clear, I would like you to know that I am joking, and if that joke is causing you distress, if it is causing distress to our relationship, then you can tell me. You can always tell me anything, and it's okay, and I will adjust to your comfort level. I am sorry. If there's anything I can do to stop this cycle of conflict around this particular thing, please let me know.
Important note. First of all, I didn't know you were joking, genuinely. Second of all, Kozuki Callan 3 has 44 hits as an emote, and I keep noticing these little numbers at the bottom right of the screen. It's fucking me up. You're right that this emote does look a little fucked up, though, when I look at it closer. I think it's just that they insist on, like, giving her this, like, eyeshadow thing, which isn't even that prominent in her character art. It's, like, kind of just how they draw her, like, with the shadow over her eyes. I don't think it's really a character thing. I think that's just how they draw people, but they have put it in every emote, and it's kind of fucked up.
Classic emote problem is once you, like, at small scale, this is the shit in people's hair problems in many ways, where, like, at small scale, there's, on the full drawing, on her face, there's, like, 80 different individual elements, and there's, like, a tenth of that on the tiny scale, and so to, like, have anything on there that draws your eye anywhere has such an outsized effect that to have just even the tiniest little bit of shadow over and under her eyes while she is humming this while she's humming, as indicated by this single eighth note, which is not literally a single eighth note. I understand, and I am sorry.
You're freaking me out.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I have to draw boundaries.
Okay, I'll stop. It just makes her look very tired. I cannot tell if this is intentional or not.
I think this is just like a problem that these emotes have, is they're trying to do any of what's on her face as, like, they're trying really hard to keep her looking stylistically like the Code Geass character, and, like, they're succeeding with the eyes. The eyes are really well done in all of these, I think, to make her look similar to her character art, which is to say not like she was drawn in Mahjong Soul, while keeping the sort of Mahjong Soul effect. And I think that's part of why her smile is so angular in this one. She's got this, like, weird angular lines all over the place. But I think they're trying way too hard.
They are trying too hard. But they are also, like, and I mean, I understand why this is. But she is, like, really notably missing the, like, very angular chin.
Yeah, she doesn't have a sharp chin because she's a Mahjong Soul emote.
Yeah. Which is, like, I mean, lots of people in this game are, like, drawn with, like, a pointed chin. That's, like, how you draw women a lot of the time in this sort of broad art style. Although, like, Mahjong Soul chins tend to be a little bit more rounded by this than this. Whoops. But it's like the fact that she is a soup woman means that this face shape is very expected.
Yeah.
And so I do wonder if they're trying to like compensate for that in ways.
Well, now I want to look at the other Code Geass crossover characters emotes, but I guess we'll have to wait until question mark.
Uh-huh.
Emote 5?
Emote
Or
5.
sorry, emote 4, the 5th emote?
Uh-huh. I love our podcast just like devolving further and further into sort of incomprehensibility.
Mm-hmm. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
I came up with a new bonus episode recently. This is one I should probably run by you instead of springing on you. I just thought it would be fun. Anyway, am I doing this one or are you?
You're doing this one.
Okay. In this one, she is walking through the woods. Stay with me.
Okay, I'm staying.
She, it's after school, and I guess she doesn't have any like Black Knight shit today, and so she's like, you know what? I'm gonna take some me time. I'm gonna go for a walk in the woods and have a nice time. And she's walking through the woods, and suddenly, because Britannia, after invading Japan, one of the imports that they brought to Japan was grizzly bears. She encounters a bear in the forest, and it's like late spring. It's like baby time, and she's just happened to wander in the woods a little bit too close to this bear den, and this bear is not happy. And she has forgotten her little bell that you're supposed to bring with you to scare off bears. You aware of this? I don't know how much walking through the woods you've done. She doesn't have her little bell. She doesn't have her bear mace. She does know how to like deal with a bear, and the way that you deal with a bear is that you like make you don't keep approaching, but you do like make your arms really big and go so that the bear is like, oh shit, conflict. And then the bear will just kind of like let you sort of slowly back away. And so she's encountered a bear, and this is what she's doing. Also, there's kind of like a blue semicircle in the background with some sort of fades into some lines.
It's at night.
Mm-hmm.
She's walking through the woods at night. I'm not aware of the bell that you're supposed to bring, but I am aware of the air horn, which I imagine serves a similar purpose.
Yeah.
But freakier. In terms of the air horn is louder and is...
The bell is really loud. Never mind. It stays muted the whole time, but you can take it out of its little thing and unmute it, and then it's really loud.
I see.
Anyway,
that was a shockingly good description of what this emote looks like.
Uh-huh.
All things considered. This is exactly what you would do if you were trying to scare off a bear.
Uh-huh.
I appreciated the amount of Code Geass references you were able to throw in there as someone who doesn't know anything about this show and has never seen it.
I'm really doing my best.
You are. I really appreciate it. This is the emote that I was looking at where her boobs are really prominent.
Uh-huh. That's part of scaring off the bears. You have to make your boobs really prominent.
Sorry, you have to vacuum seal your clothes onto your boobs in order to scare off bears more effectively.
Right.
It's a good look. I like it. This is... Yeah. I can't tell if this emote is... Well, now I can only think of this emote as the emote you use to scare off bears. When actually it's probably meant to be, like, frustration.
Sure. I do feel like she's about to attack me. She has her hands, like, up in the air and sort of claws, and she seems very mad. I don't know if this is a specific reference to Code Geass or
I don't know either. It's been a while.
Uh-huh.
But I like that she's looking up at the bear.
Uh-huh.
You've created a new canon for me.
Uh-huh. Well, it's a grizzly bear. It's big.
It is.
Are grizzly bears the type of bear they have in Europe? I actually don't know. What?
No, that's the grizzly bear is North American.
Are in Europe. Obviously, they have bears in Europe because of berserkers. We all know this.
Brown bears.
The European brown bear can be found all over Europe. Well, pretend I said European brown.
You said brown bear the whole time,
Ivy,
and not grizzly bear, which is North American.
Did I not? I thought I said grizzly bear. Anyway, it doesn't matter. She's scaring off a European brown bear. I was lying. Oh. I can't believe you're lying live on air.
In this emote, she's surprised and eating a sandwich. There's sort of a light gray-blue background with these dashes that are going the same direction as it looks like she's kind of jumped. She's startled. She's got a little sweat drop on her face. She has a like less of an I'm upset expression and more of a like, hey, what the fuck expression. There's a little yellow, shock indicator by her head. And she was holding this sandwich and eating it clearly, but she has, her hand has come off the sandwich and now it's just stuffed in her cheeks as she looks at you.
The sandwich is stuffed in her cheeks, not her hand.
Yes, sorry. And then she's looking at you like, why the fuck would you do that? So this is either an emote for like, you scared me and / or why the fuck would you do that? Props.
This one is very colorful. It has a lot of colors.
It's got all the primary colors in it.
And yellow. What kind of sandwich do you think this is?
Oh, it's like a cucumber sandwich. Like, this is tea time. She's having fucking... She's having high tea. Because she's dignified Britannian girl.
Have you ever had high tea?
I am familiar with the procedure of high tea. I have had, like, a nice tea, but I've never had the full fucking high tea experience.
I have once, and it kind of sucked.
Awesome.
So I'm kind of curious if people have had positive high tea experiences. If you've had a positive high tea experience, you can let us know in our newly opened co-host Ask Box.
I was informed their Ask Box was closed, and so I had to open it. This was at about 4 a.m. I'm really amused by the narrative of, like, she's at, like, a nice high tea, and she's got her dignified little, like, there are no crusts or a little triangular sandwich, a little cucumber sandwich, and she's eating it real dignified, and then someone does something that shocks her so badly she becomes not normal anymore.
Yeah. There's a sense here of her, like, wanting to break the, dignified fucking mask she's wearing or whatever. But you do think that this is her at tea and not sort of like a classic kind of like, running to school with a sandwich in my mouth?
No, I think it's no. Okay. I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at this emote and thinking about what it would be like if that big triangle for her sandwich were just her big open mouth. Lin Lang style.
Her mouth
It has largely the same effect.
Her mouth extends down so much.
Smile. Emote.
I like this one.
6, the 7th emote 6, the 7th emote. Yep, I did it right the first time.
Sometimes you just gotta take a second take. This is normal. In this one, I think it's my turn.
Yes.
It's having trouble keeping track because I'm busy thinking about bears. But she looks like she's from Ace Attorney. She's very Ace Attorney sort of positioned in this frame.
Oh,
IMO.
yeah, I know what you mean by this.
But she's sort of like turned. Her body is turned a little bit to, I guess, to her right. But her head is sort of turning around to the. I turned my head as I said that, and then I realized it would be bad for audio. Her head is.
You've
sort
done
of like,
this multiple times this episode. It's really fascinating.
Yeah, I got up and measured my own legs earlier. And she's sort of like turning towards the camera as her body is turning away from the camera, and has her eyes are big, open, wide, and circular and shining. Her eyebrows are slanted down in sort of like a, not angry, but sort of like aggressive focus, and she has like a big open mouth, like she's making an accusation. Accusation. And then there's just 6 dots on the side running down the right side. Dot, 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 dot. Wait, dot,
I think
dot,
this was
dot,
kind
dot,
of...
dot, dot.
Yeah.
And so I
this is kind
can't
of funny.
tell if she's
usually...
like making a declaration or if she's shocked and can't say anything. Her face and her posing are so like she's making a speech, but the 6 dots make it seem like she isn't saying anything, and so I'm not quite sure how I'm supposed to read this.
Here's my read. She's giving a speech, but she just said something she shouldn't, and now she's looking out at the crowd, with a blank, like, still in the middle of making her speech expression, but the crowd has gone silent, and so has she. That's my read. Your Ace Attorney read of this pose has changed everything for me.
It's
it really is. Like, she's got one hand on the desk. Like, so prominent. I was gonna say, I'm really fascinated by the fact that they choose to do the ellipses down in this one, because usually they do them across in, like, you know, left to right style, but this time they've done it, you know, top to bottom, in, I guess, a very Japanese way.
Yeah, I mean,
which
I
environmental storytelling, if you want it to be.
Sure. And also, like, the dots are weirdly kind of messy. Open
image and new tab.
The dots are weirdly kind of messy, and so, like, it does, like, genuinely give me the impression of a, like, handwritten Japanese thing in which often like to indicate a sort of like long dramatic pause in written Japanese, even like typed Japanese stuff, there's either just like a long vertical line or like a vertical series of dots.
This is the emote with the most, like, weird angular brushwork of all of them. There's so much of it.
Yeah, it is also very... her outlines are really thick and, like, painterly. And, like, with the messy dots, I feel like it's going for something that I can't quite... I don't quite understand.
It's not strong enough of an impression to be this, but it feels to me like this, like, you know, these little extra lines on the left, and, you know, this long kind of pause feel is meant to be sort of a, you know, frozen in shame thing. That's what it gives to me. Like, you know, in anime, sometimes you'll see characters, like, freeze and then they go all white with just, like, black brush strokes.
Yeah.
It's like that to me. But they didn't really do it.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that's true.
She looks so determined for someone who's been shocked. I guess I can see it. It's just like it doesn't quite... They didn't go all the way.
Yeah, they didn't go hard enough with this one, and I don't know how to feel about it.
And, like, they could have gone harder in either direction, and instead it's in this weird middle ground, and I simply don't know what to do with it.
It's fascinating.
Uh-huh.
It can't be denied.
Can't be denied.
Emote 7, the 8th emote, is the one in which she's in a bunny suit.
Do you remember when this happens in the show?
This is a reference to the show, yes.
Okay.
This is a thing which happens in the show, is that she wears this bunny suit. So it's not just out of nowhere. That being said, they are combining this bunny suit thing with her, like, I'm an innocent little girl act, which is wild but funny.
Sure.
It comes off almost as just, like, too earnestly a cute bunny girl image.
It comes off a little bit too just a genuinely playboy.
Yeah, it's to describe it, she's got, red bunny ears. One of them is flopped over, one of them is upright. It's a close-up on her face. Her eyes are big and sparkly like normal. She's blushing. Instead of her normal determined eyebrows, she's got, like, an embarrassed look. She's got big sparkly, like, yellow and red background behind her. And then she's wearing a little red bow tie, and you can only tell she's wearing clothes because of a tiny triangle covering part of her boob. But you can interpret based on the bunny girl ears.
And a very kind of, like, abstractly positioned cleavage line that doesn't fully make sense if you look at it for too long, but it's just
This is because Code Geass can't handle boobs.
Can they not?
They draw a lot of breast-delicious ladies with so much skin showing, and they just don't know how.
I am so sorry for them. That's hard.
Yeah, well, they'll learn one day. But yeah, it comes off as just a Playboy bunny image.
One thing I like about this emote that I don't think is intentional, first of all, I like a lot of these sort of I'm cute images have these sort of, like, pink backgrounds and these sort of sparkles around the character. I like in this one that it is explicitly, like, there are kind of pink bubbles, and the bubbles are sparkling. Like, the sparkles aren't just kind of hanging out in the air.
Yeah, it's an overlay,
Yeah, they're sort of, like, on these other objects, which are these sort of light pink bubbles floating up around her. And I just think that that's a little bit more interesting than just sort of having sparkles around her. The thing I like about this image that I don't think is intentional, or maybe it is, question mark? Because, hang on, let me go look at her art again. I don't know. I don't know what she looks like without a shirt. Hang on, let me look up Bond Up.
Yeah,
maybe
look at
this
Bond
is
Up.
Intentional. No, because I need to look at her arms, and you still can't see her arms.
Yeah.
But okay. In Chessboard Party, you can see her arms, and that makes me think that this isn't intentional. However, in this Playboy bunny emote, she does look kind of swole.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at her right
Not
arm,
intentional
she's
whatsoever.
got, like, a huge fucking, I don't remember what that muscle is called. She has these
bicep?
Yeah, there we go. She's got, like, big shoulders and big biceps. Even on the left shoulder, you can kind of see it. And she kind of, like, it weirdly gives off an impression of this, like, very strong woman in this, like, trying to do this innocent Playboy bunny thing just by, the sheer size of her arm. And I don't think that's necessarily inaccurate, but I also don't think it's intentional.
It's not intentional. It's also not inaccurate. She is, like, an ace mech pilot.
It is accidentally much better and more accurate to the character than I think it means to be, just by making her look like she's actually just kind of fucking ripped.
Sick? Well.
Great.
Awesome.
Great.
Oh, this is a good time to mention the voice line that she has inexplicably. This is the only, like, Mahjong Soul-related voice line that she has, in which she goes, "Are Kaguya Hime's bunny ears real? I saw human ears under her hair."
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. Which is just, like, really funny when you look at this image and her very visible ear and her little bunny ear headband.
Uh-huh. Or maybe she doesn't have a bunny ear headband. Maybe she's been hit by the curse of the moon.
Maybe the curse of the moon! If you don't know what this means, don't.
Don't watch bonus episode 2.
Please
don't.
don't.
Please. Please. I'm begging you. Anyway.
Emote 8? The 9th emote?
The 9th emote. She's crying. She's looking to the left of frame. Her eyes are, big, and she's sad, and her teeth are grit in a sad expression. Her brow is furrowed, and she has tears, like, pouring down her cheeks. And just, like, a thick stream of tears. That's kind of all there is to it. But I will say off the gate that this is, like, genuinely a pretty affecting crying face, I think that this emote set is weirdly well done in terms of just, like, good.
Yeah, these are well articulated
expressions.
emotions.
Yeah, like, genuinely. It's not, like, the most interesting set of emotions ever, but they are very appealing just because they are simply, like, well drawn to express the emotion.
It's got range.
And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, she really did. She sure is crying.
It doesn't fit like, character necessarily, but it is like, she's a whole person.
There's probably a scene in the fucking anime
in which
one of her mech buddies gets exploded by the Britannian, whatever, secret police or whatever.
Here's the truth.
Taking guesses.
Here's the truth. Is that a scene like that in the show would not happen while she's in her school uniform. And that's the only reason why this emote, like, takes me out of it a little bit.
Sure.
Is that she should be crying while in her ace mech pilot outfit. But nevertheless, she's a whole person. She's got a whole range of emotions here, which I really respect.
Yeah.
These are just like, this should be your baseline for all Mahjong Soul emotes. You can just replace her face with anybody's face. Don't do this. That being said, if you were to, you could.
She's gone for a walk in the woods, and she's discovered, like, a month later that actually the bear has died.
No.
And this is very distressing for her. It feels, even though the bear was scary, it's also like, she had, like, an emotionally affecting experience with this bear. And it's just like, she's just filled with complicated emotions and, like, complicated feelings about death and nature, She's a whole person.
She's a whole person.
I haven't seen this anime, so the only way I can relate to this woman is by my projected bear story.
Through bear stories? Great. Should we take a 5-minute break?
Oh yeah, this is when we do that.
I'm taking control of the structure of this podcast today.
Thank you, I'm sorry. I did a lot of walking. Thanks. Okay, see you soon.
かぐや姫のウサギの耳ってまさか本物じゃないわよね。でも髪の毛で人間の耳の方は見えないし。なんだか気になる。思い切って聞いてみようかしら。
Crimes only.
Crimes only podcast.
Okay, I'm good now.
It's a true crime podcast, except it's just us doing podcasting crimes.
Fascinating. Welcome back.
Sort of a genre subversion,
Well, now I was gonna introduce us back to the podcast, but now I can't because you were speaking in the middle of it. Welcome back. Perfect. Great take.
Great. Are you gonna read this line?
Oh, every time I can't... Wait, hold on! Available after making a bonding promise with... With.
I don't know why her name isn't on these pages. It's very
She's fucking
strange.
censored.
Available after making a bonding promise with. I know
this is a good image, by the way.
Uh-huh. This image has, like, fucking, quick math. This image has, like, 4 times the views of her default skin.
Oh my god, you're right.
And I wonder
This has
because...
2,000 views.
Mm-hmm.
And that one has, like, 500.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. I wonder if that's just because it's a better looking image and more interesting in every way.
Uh-huh. I wonder if it's that or if it's anything else.
Maybe the boobs? Who's to say? You have to say it with your chest.
Ash, I would never talk about boobs.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Her jumpsuit is, like, shockingly well rendered here, given that I never think about it, like, watching the show. Or, like, I never thought about it. And how it is and why it looks like that.
Uh-huh.
But this is kind of a comprehensible outfit in every way except for the fact that her little capelet, she just, like, sticks her arms through it.
Yeah, it doesn't really have clear armholes, but that's okay.
And also her epaulettes are just, or whatever the fuck those are. I'm calling them epaulettes because I want to. Are just stuck to her shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
She, why is she... I can briefly describe this image. She's in kind of like a red jumpsuit with black outlines and a black zipper. Her tits are like all the way out.
Mm-hmm.
Except for like... They're all the way out, basically.
Yeah, they're basically all the way out.
She has like also a matching red and black headband. And then on this jumpsuit are little sort of like armor bits. She has some armor bits on the side of her thigh and on her calves. She has knee pads and top of the hand pads, but no elbow pads, which sort of freaks me out. But she does have this sort of like silver cloth exterior piece on her arms, which I don't quite understand, but it's fine. And she's got little black belts on her, sort of like under her ribs.
Her boobs. Under her boobs.
Sure.
That's just where they are.
A lot of the image is under her boobs, so I was trying to be more specific.
True. My bad.
Which I guess those belts are used to, you know, tighten the outfit there such that we can get this tits out experience that we're all enjoying. And yeah, she's wearing this sort of weird little sort of capelet vest ?
Yeah.
With what I assume is the insignia of the Black Knights.
Correct.
I am looking at this and seeing how it's kind of like a broken fleur-de-lis in a sense. It's kind of like the shape of a fleur-de-lis, but sort of like stripped of its floweriness, which
it contrasts well with
me.
the like school emblem / Britannian emblem.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And then she's got these weird little shoulder pads / epaulettes, which look like they contain something. They look like little... they kind of look like thermoses is the problem, as I look at them and I'm
imagining them as like mech-style shoulder-mounted guns.
Sure.
I just hope that's what they are. I don't believe that.
I've
also seen the show and know that's not what they are, but I'm imagining it in my mind.
I hope they're little thermoses, and she just like... You get hungry when you're mech fighting, I imagine.
Well, no,
so you gotta keep
Ivy.
A little bit of soup on you.
Ivy, you get hungry out in the woods.
Oh, so she remembered to pack her shoulder thermoses full of soup,
but not her bear mace,
bear
no.
bell. No. Bear bell / mace / air horn.
The background of this image, she is got these chains like wrapped around her arms partially that are half broken, and she's like pulling them up from the ground. There's one of them wrapping around her leg that's broken. And then she's got like fire swirling around her, and she's in this kind of broken landscape with these white and black crystalline shards and black fabric draped over like a black moon. Or like just a craggy outcrop. I don't know. It looks like a moon.
Oh my god.
It's really cool. Like, I genuinely think this is such a cool looking image. She doesn't... This isn't... this is not a shot from the show in the way that, like, the Miyuki, Bond Up was a shot from the intro. Which makes it all the cooler that they've kind of done this thing. They don't tend to, I feel like, have background elements overlapping the character art a lot. And so there's moments where the fire and the chains just, like, very slightly, not in any significant way, but very slightly obscure parts of the actual image in a way that's, like, kind of just appealing to me.
Yeah. It's fun that she's breaking free of these chains, but she's also using them to rip up the earth or whatever. She's pulling on them so hard that it generates flames. It's abstract in a fun way.
Yeah.
It's fun to know that this isn't like a thing that happens in the show.
No,
I assume
nobody
there's
has...
like symbolism here that is associated with something.
Yes. I mean, the whole chains thing is obviously about being like a freedom fighter and all that. And like, it's pretty direct to be like, oh, it's fire because she's like a fiery woman. But that's just genuinely true. It's just genuinely what it is. But, like, you know, nobody has, like, magic powers in this show. They just have mechs. Well, like, sorry, I said nobody has magic powers, ignoring the fact that the entire premise of this show is that the main character has magic powers. My bad. Nobody has, like, fucking pyrokinesis in this show. They fight with mechs. And so this is, like... It's cool to see her doing a shot just in her mech piloting outfit, because we don't actually see her do anything cool outside of the mech a whole lot. So this is fun. I like that they can't... I really wish, in a fucked up way, that they had her mech, somewhere in one of these images. But, like, I guess I can't ask Mahjong Soul to do that for me. It's just a bridge too far. They won't draw a mech.
God, can you imagine, though? Sigh.
They won't draw a mech, and they won't say her name on mahjongsoul.club.
Trying to think if this is a good gag for the episode description or if it's a little bit too much. It's maybe a little bit too much, but it would be really funny.
It'd be kind of funny.
I'll think about it. I can do whatever I want.
You can.
I can just put her name in the tags. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fun image. Something about, like, the fucking rocks and flames and stuff gives this a very, like, Pokemon vibe to me in ways that I cannot explain further than that. But she does it does kind of look like you're about to have a gym leader battle.
What I was gonna say is it looks like, and you have to understand that I say this knowing full well what I'm about to say. I was gonna say it looks like fucking an image from a gacha game. And what I mean by that is, like, a real game in which you use these as your fighters. Like,
right.
this is a standee for, like, an Arc Knights character.
Right.
But I did think the words, it's like from a gacha game in my head, and so I had to say them out loud.
Yeah. Thank fucking God we're not doing a podcast about gacha game art. Can you imagine?
We can't even joke about this.
No.
The most prominent part of this image for me, other than the fact that it's awesome, is just the amount of, like, folds in her flesh.
I was about to say, yeah, this jumpsuit is very, like, nicely textured
Mhm.
in that I can, like, tell how it functions as a piece of clothing, which is wild. One, in that, like, they don't always do that in just,
Mhm.
like, art in general, and as art in this game. Sometimes they do. But, like, they rarely do this with, like, skin-tight clothing
Mhm.
in a lot of art.
I mean, it's either, like, you know, like cling film, like you can just see their skin under it, or, like, you know, it's not rendered with skin-tight
Yeah.
clothing. And this is
Yeah.
neither.
Like, you can look at her spine, and you can
Mhm.
see that she is twisting her torso. And
Yeah.
then that twist in her torso translates to, like, a fold in the fabric of her suit, which is,
Mhm.
like, both trying to cling to her body because it's a skin-tight suit, but also just, like, is not as flexible as her, and so it does this weird foldy thing, and it's, like, really good. Like,
Yeah. I mean, you can see it down the zipper. This, like, these bends and folds in the fabric, which is awesome. And then it also just, like, I really like the way that, you know, crease from, you know, from rib to thigh, basically, that is her twisting, just, like, goes through her navel and then distorts what would normally be, like, a divot for her navel in this skin-tight suit.
Uh-huh. If you
It's
look
awesome.
at her right hip, you can see, like, the way that this, like, it's clearly, like, leather also. It has the sort of weight of leather to it. You can see the way the leather kind of, like, because her right leg is pulled up, you can see at her hip the way that, like, that pushes the leather up and bunches it up at her hip. Which is wild. You can also see the way in which, like, her thigh is interacting with, like, the bottom of her torso, kind of like her, you know, the bottom of her abdomen into sort of like her mon pubis area. You can see it, like,
it's like pushing. It's like pushing up a little bit of tummy.
Yeah,
it's really nice. I was
Hang
going to
on,
mention
I'm standing up and I'm doing this pose, and that is in fact what happens. And it's just like, it's really good clothing dynamics, really good body dynamics.
Yeah. I was going to mention how much I like this foreshortened leg, that's, like, you know, knee out. I like this pose in general. You know, both, like, the strong position of her arms and her determined look with her head facing down, and, you know, the twisting and the one leg down and one leg up. Like, it's all very nice. I just like the way that this, like, leg is, and also because these, like, black, I don't know what they are. These, like, pieces of black fabric where this, like, the armor pieces that she has are bunched or caught or something. Those create creases in the jumpsuit. And so you can see one of those on her thigh there that, like, contributes to this bunching effect. And then I really like the one on her extended leg, where it's just, like, clearly that's what it's coming from. And so the dynamics of the fabric are really well thought out.
Yeah, this pose does, like, they do a good job of, like, this is how you have a character have, like, a fucked up pose that doesn't make a ton of sense. In the sense that, like, her center of gravity is, like, way the fuck off.
Yeah, and also she, like, has one really long leg and one foreshortened leg, which, like it's foreshortened, it's hard to do that, but her one really long leg, she's falling over. But, like,
they abstract, like, the whole scene is abstracted enough that it's fine. I cannot deal with it when, you know, a character has this pose and they're, like, literally standing in a coffee shop. Because then I'm like, you're gonna fall over and spill coffee everywhere. Fucking Hannah Nanomiya.
Your baby deer legs!
Your baby deer legs can't support you in this way!
No!
You've just been freshly born! All you can do is totter.
Sorry, I like the phrase, all you can do is totter. She looks like she's in motion, she's on like a battlefield, she's doing a thing. So it just looks like she's in this awesome action pose. Like, that leg is about to move forward and support her again. She's like in the middle of a dodge, or she's running forward or something. Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, and she's in like fantasy fucking made up pulling the moon out of the earth land.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't need to have center of gravity. She just needs to like look sick.
Yeah.
And she does.
And she does.
So, shoutouts.
We haven't mentioned it at all thus far, so just before we move on, I do want to mention that her hair is different in this. This is what she looks like when she's being an ace mech pilot. It's just that instead of having her hair, down and slicked back, she's got her bangs and everything, but her hair is all spiked up in the back, and so she looks like she has a much shorter hairstyle, and it's just going everywhere. Sick. It kind of makes them look like two different people, but it's just how it is.
No, it works for me.
It's good.
It translates over. I will say, as much as fucking also like decent body dynamics, in terms of just like, listen, having your tits out in this way, in which they are protruding out over your leather jumpsuit, would be like the worst shit of all time. This would feel awful. And is like, this would be bad. I guess it's fine because of cool action reasons. But I will also say that like the fucking, for someone, I do think that like, I will give them at least this as like the body dynamics of the boobs are okay. They're more or less like in the right place and following the motion and stuff. And also just like, I think the shading and the lines like at her like clavicle look really nice.
I agree.
Really nicely drawn image top to bottom.
I was going to mention that I really like the way that the texture is on this leather jumpsuit, with just these little bits of... It's not like a harsh white shine, which would make it look more like latexy, but it's this like muted shine. It's really good.
I like have a red leather jacket, and this is exactly what it looks like. And
you're right, that like
it's nice.
When people draw big boobs, they don't really care where those boobs are, what they're doing in images most of the time. And so they could totally be more like weird than they are. But they're like oriented in the right direction. They look like they're in the middle of bouncing up because she's in the middle of motion. Which is reasonable. As opposed to like, you can imagine any other image in which there's a woman, but the rest of the woman is just set dressing for the fact that she has boobs. This is not true in this image.
Yeah, and I simply cannot fault the artists for this, because this is apparently just how this character, and maybe every woman woman in the show's boobs work, in that they like protrude out over the outfit like this. And if you must do this, if this is in the art prompt, then they are doing like decent enough body dynamics with this kind of impossible thing.
Forgiveness.
Shut up. Forgiveness. I don't know who drew this image, but I forgive you.
Emotes?
I don't remember whose turn it is. I think
mine. It's this first emote. I'm excited that I get to talk about the first and third emote of this Bond upset. Because I have feelings. This first emote, she is got this big, red line, from the top right to bottom left of the image, with these smaller, dark red lines. And she's got a big, angry indicator, on her forehead. She looks pissed off. She is in the middle of yelling, facing to the right. She's got one fist up, and she's yelling and angry and making a point. It's also very Ace Attorney, I feel.
Uh-huh. Yeah. This is, again, they just, like, know how to draw good facial expressions for this emote set for some reason. And they sure do. It's strong. I, like, feel like it is very... Despite the angry thing, I feel like as an emote, this is very, like, I'm giving a speech,
Mm-hmm.
in a way that, like, I don't know if I personally would use this as my, like, I'm angry at you emote.
Yeah.
It's very kind of, like, determined.
This
This
is
a
my...
decent, like...
This is my emote for when I had a really good hand, and then you fucking Richie no me'd on me, is I'm like, look at this! Behold! My fucking... My Sanshoku! It has exactly the energy to me as, like, you are at the meeting table, and then somebody proposes, a plan that not everybody is gonna like, and she's the character who stands up like, we can't do this! We can't stand for this! You're telling me you're gonna send Maverick in? Except she's Maverick, so...
Well...
But nevertheless, you understand what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
Second emote.
I'm glad I get to talk about this one. This is my favorite one.
Let's go.
This is just like a fucking tight shot on her face.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically all it is. It's just like a really tight shot on her face. Her face fills basically the entire frame. She has this sort of like focused, sort of like almost calculating. She doesn't necessarily look angry. She looks like she's, you know, this is sort of the classic anime shot, like mech anime specifically, in which, like, you know, we're battling and then we zoom into the cockpit and we zoom in really tight on a character's face and see their facial expression while they, like, think out their plan. And it's a very effective rendering of that. It's just, like, really nice looking.
Yeah.
It has, like, those kind of, like, shadows, like,
I was gonna
on top
say,
and at the bottom of her eyes, and it really works here in terms of just, like, making her look like a face, first of all, and also just, like, making her look like a battle-hardened mech pilot, so on and so forth.
Because it's in this dramatic close-up, and you have so much, like, canvas space to work with to do all these details, and nothing else in the image, but you could do it badly, even if you had all this space to work with and nothing else in the image, and you just decided to add every single detail that you think is on her character model. But instead, they've, like, done a really good job of, like, not all of this stuff is even on the image that you can, like, that is the Bond-up image. She's got these slight eye bags, she's got, like, I like that her, the eye to our left, I'm no longer bothering to call them the right things, is, like, it just, her brow is partially cutting into it in this way that I am really fond of. And then that, you're right, that, like, chiaroscuro, harsh shadow on the lit up side of her face, the darkened side of her face. Like, it just all works. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I like that her expression, like, I like that her expression and the shape of her eyes are sort of, like, asymmetrical. Like, the ways that her brows are moving is asymmetrical, in a way that, like, makes her feel like a tactician. In the way that, like, when you're thinking very hard about something, sometimes you'll, like, you know, you at home can do this with your own personal face.
Hey,
is you sort of,
really
like,
hard
squint
and do some shit with your face.
Yeah, squint one eye, you know, you squint one eye a little harder than the other. And it just, like, is very effective. I also hate this emote personally because it makes me realize that her headband is also made of leather, and this sounds like the most sensory hell thing that could ever exist.
What can you do?
But that's okay.
A couple other things in this emote before we move on to the one I want to talk about. They don't usually render this little, like, divot in the chin that a lot of characters have.
I was just thinking about that. I love the chin divot.
It is in this one, and it deserves to be in this one. I really like, weirdly, that they don't it's still an emote, so they don't give her a nose. They give her a shadow as if a nose were there. But they do not draw the
shape
line
of a nose. Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
like it looks a little weird, but I really like the way it just gives it. Like, otherwise I feel like it would lose some of that, like, Mahjong Soul emote-ness that it has.
It is in this really nice middle ground between the, like, chibi face and her actual face. Like,
yeah,
her
her
chin
eyes
is a
are
little
too
bit
big,
more...
her mouth is too small.
Yeah, but her chin is a little bit more pointed than most of the emotes, and, like...
But she's still got that little protrusion of the cheek.
Uh-huh. I mean, she has the cheek protrusion in both her main art and her
It's
emotes,
not,
but yeah.
it's not, like... In her main art, it's like, it slopes inwards still.
Uh-huh. The thing I like about the chin divot also is that, like, again, it just, like, it's just nice that it's there, but it also, like, adds texture to her expression in that it makes her feel like she's sort of, like, you know, protruding her lips a little bit in this sort of pursed way. It's just, I just like looking at it.
So good, yeah. And the third emote is fucking weird. Hey, I want you to look at how long her fucking fingers are. Hey,
Yeah.
What? Huh? What?
Uh-huh.
Huh? What? Why are her fingers like that? Why are there
Uh-huh.
3 of them are okay? Also, she has... No, wait, one of those is her palm. Never mind. 2 of them are okay.
Wait.
I briefly thought she had 6 fingers. 2 of them are okay. And then she also has a peace sign in which the fingers are just thin and long. Also, her boob is out too much. There should be nipple there. At this point, she's got this pale yellow star that does not work. Her face is just... I've zoomed all the way in on this emote to look at it. Like, her mouth is off. It's slanted wrong. This is not an image. This is not real. This is not real. Here's what the jumpsuit should be doing, is that it's supposed to cover, like, half of her boob. And so it should go, like, fucking... They've just decided to do that window in whatever shape they want, regardless of where the boobs are. So either her boob should be further, like, in the jumpsuit, or the jumpsuit should be further over, covering the boob. And instead it's just, like, fully you just have one boob out. And that's fucked up. And then it's just, like, the pale yellow of the star is fucking weird. I know there's a little line, but you can barely see it. And then instead of being like a fucking... It's just a perfectly shaped star in this weird color that doesn't make sense. And 2 of her fingers are fucking long. What? Huh? What? This is AI generated. I can't handle it. Also, just, like, look at the way the black lining looks on her little capelet. It's like, fucking, it fades out in the places where there's light on it, and it freaks me out.
I do wonder if, like, you could keep the shape of this boob window and improve it by just making the cleavage line in a...
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. The boob needs to be further into the jumpsuit. I'm gesturing this on my own body as though you can see.
Me grabbing at my own boobs. The boobs!
The boobs! This is fucked. Also, she would not fucking do that. What's wrong with you? Was she doing posing for a fucking publicity stunt, but they had to Photoshop her halfway? What's wrong? What's happening? Why are her fingers thin and long?
She really does look like she has 6 fingers. Like,
she does! It looks like she's got 3 fingers curled and then 2 fingers up into thumb. But I know one of those is just the crease of her palm, and that's just how it looks when you do that. Like, I get it, it's fine. But also, what the fuck? What the hell? I can't handle the fact that this exists. Anyway, I'm fine now.
Okay. I kind of don't want to say anything, because I kind of just want that segment to be... that.
Okay. Chessboard party.
Chessboard party.
Chessboard
Next
Party
skin.
Kallen Kozuki.
Chessboard Party Kallen Kozuki.
Now, I imagine that all of the Code Geass characters have a chessboard party, but again, I can't look at them right now or else it'll be outside of the spirit of the damn podcast. So,
I mean,
question mark,
I've looked
question mark,
at
question
every
mark.
single image in this game, and I can answer your question. Yes,
Okay. She's a rook.
she's a rook.
This is the
She's-
Mahjong Soul ass one that they have to do for every collab.
Uh-huh. The tagline is, "This dress, well, the design is alright, I feel restless wearing it."
Yeah, is it because this is a loose dress which just covers your boobs by falling in the right place? It hangs under the boob. There is no support.
Uh-huh. This could, an errant
An
breath
ill-placed
of
breeze.
wind, uh-huh, would just, like, they're going all the way out.
Mm-hmm. Which I
They're
guess
going
she's not concerned
all
about
the
that,
way out.
considering what she normally wears. But nevertheless.
I guess so. I mean, you know, nipples are maybe a different story.
I guess.
They...
Mahjong Soul last things in this outfit. She's got one fishnet stocking on with the thing at her thigh. She's got
a garter.
It's a garter, thank you. She's got anklets. She's got a bracelet on one wrist. She's also got something on her. She's got an armlet on one arm.
Yeah, she's got a very long glove that only goes over one finger,
Mhm.
like the weird finger gloves from.
Yes, I'm aware. That one detached glove is like a detached sleeve. Dress that's real short in the front and real long in the back. Collar with shit on it. Something on her head because they cannot resist.
It's a little like bowler hat, which is so weird.
It's
Like a
cute,
little bowler
actually.
hat
I
with a
don't
little-
hate it.
This little fascinator. I also don't hate it. I fucking hate to tell you, but I kind of don't hate this dress.
Yeah, this kind of fucks. I just wanted to point out that it's so deeply Mahjong Soul.
It's yeah. This like fucking like fishtail ass dress is like kind of sick with it. I think it's kind of a nice dress.
I just need to pull like the bow down her waist a little bit so that like the front of her dress is covering a little more, and then also just so those straps covering her boobs stay on and fastened. It's worrying me. They're just attached to this collar.
Of all things. Of all things on this outfit, I do like the big bow at her hip the least.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I genuinely think this dress is kind of a hot look. It's, like, it's a good shape.
Mm-hmm.
And the bow is just, like, not doing any... Like, it
hypothetically
is sort of like a slinky fucking... like cocktail party number.
Mm-hmm.
And then it has this big bow like you're going to like a fucking costume party.
It just makes it look like a little goofier than it needs to be. Yeah. But I do like the little slit in the side that it creates, under which I think you can see a little bit of panty, which is wild.
Yeah, I was looking at that line and trying to figure out what it was supposed to be, but I guess it is just like a little bit of panty. Great.
Fun?
These shoes kind of fuck, also. I can't help but look at this. This is just the kind of dress that I used to wear, and I can't help but look at this dress and be like, I kind of like it, despite everything. These shoes kind of fuck. I think it would be great if she was wearing 2 fishnets, because I think the fishnets...
Yeah, I think she should be wearing 2 fishnets, absolutely. The fishnet is a great look, and it doesn't need to be asymmetrical like this. It makes her look like... The fact that the one fishnet and the bow and the little bowler hat give me is just like edgy Alice in Wonderland again, and so like I don't need it.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's chess themed, so it would be edgy through the looking glass.
Sorry, thank you.
Please,
My bad.
It's okay. I forgive you.
But I like the little bowler hat in the absence of, like, some of the other things on this outfit.
I just don't like... I'm okay with it being a little goofy. I would even be okay if she had 2 gloves instead of no gloves. I just, like, don't... I just don't know if the asymmetry is
two gloves
necessary.
is good, yeah. I'm imagining 2 gloves with great...
would kind of whip.
I want it now. 2 gloves is fantastic. I don't even mind them only covering the middle finger.
Yeah, it's kind of a hot... The whole thing is kind of a hot look. It's just like a little bit, tiny bit too goofy.
Yeah, it's overwrought.
I like this thing that she is sitting on, this kind of like broken floating chest squares. I think it looks nice.
She's got this she's got the diamonds on the garter and then the diamonds on the rook and then also the moon, like from her previous image, which is kind of wild, but I like it.
Yeah, and there's these weird, like, abstract black and gold diamond shapes in the background, question mark.
I don't know why these butterflies are here.
Me neither, but I think they're fine.
They add some color. They, like, match her eyes.
Of blue.
So, yeah,
I like the splash of blue.
I do really like the flowers.
If there's one thing that the bow gives me, it's that little splash of blue of that piece of jade, question mark.
Everything
Probably
is jade.
Not. Everything is jade.
But she's got that
Everything is either red or jade.
This is just like... I shan't say. She's got that little jade in her collar and on the flower on her hat, too. So I think it would just be better if she had, like, a little flower ornament there instead of this big bow. Like, I know the bow is doing a flowery thing by having that jade in the middle, but I think, you could replace it. You're typing something ominously.
No, I was Googling the word carnation to see if that was the correct word.
No.
It absolutely is not. These are not carnations. I don't know. I know what flowers these are, but I don't know what they're called, and this is very frustrating for me.
Sorry.
Yeah, she could just, like, have one of those at her hip with with the little blue in it, and that would be a little more reasonable. Yeah. I also think it's funny that there's just, like, other, like, she's the rook, and then there's also just, like, some fucking pawns around. I really like behind her left knee, though, is this really sort of weirdly shaped, kind of, like, stubby little pawn. Just kind of hanging out with her on the platform, hanging around the flower.
Oh, there's a bishop holding up,
There's also a bishop, which feels weird, but it's also, like, so obscured that you can barely tell it's a bishop. Like, you can't see its sort of iconic bishop mouth or anything. You can just tell it's, or, like, the little dot on top, you can just tell it's a little bit pointier than the pawns.
The mouth!
And so the mouth of the bishop!
I know what you mean, it just freaked me out.
What are you supposed to call it?
I wouldn't have referred to it at all.
Well,
I shan't say.
Let's walk through this hypothetical
No.
situation. You're explaining to me.
I would say that I can't see the little, like, nub at the top. And then you can't tell it's a bishop.
You wouldn't talk about the opening
I would not talk about the mouth.
The mouth of the bishop?
No.
Episode title drop, question mark?
I can see it. Also, this was released on April 20th of last year.
Well.
Happy 420?
Good for it.
Sorry, it was released on 426. My bad. I'm looking at the tweet. It was announced on 420.
Great. Happy for her. I like looking at this image.
It's
I find
good.
it appealing.
I like looking at this image and her last image.
Yeah. Good.
That's weird. That's fucked up.
Yeah, I did not expect to. Sometimes have I just been going into, like, episodes lately with very low expectations?
Maybe.
I feel like I keep being surprised.
This has less reads than her Bond Up, which is fair, but I kind of wish it were the same.
Yeah, Wait, where's the reads? I lose it every time.
It's like 1,500, 1,600.
I just think it's a nice dress. I would wear this dress if I still wear dresses, but nevertheless, I want to keep talking about this image because I like it, but I think we've covered it.
I think we got it.
I just like it. I wish it was slightly more coherent.
The image of this image that we have created in our minds is beautiful.
But the actual image is like pretty decent.
Also pretty good, yeah.
Emote?
Yeah, it's you.
No, this is Callan Kozuki.
We can't say that.
Oh. Anyway, this is an emote of me playing Mahjong. This is an image of her wearing this dress, playing Mahjong. Her face is like half shaded, and she's sweating a little. She's focused on the game, but she's genuinely just like playing Mahjong.
This is so funny. They never played Mahjong in Code Geass. I'm actually genuinely so pleased that she just has an emote of her playing Mahjong. In her voice lines, she's like, I don't think I'm very good at Mahjong. And I think it's so funny.
You know what the real kicker is? Is that she's playing Mahjong in the emote of the skin that is specifically about chess. And so it's just like board games? Question mark?
I didn't even connect those dots.
She's in Mahjong, Soul. You know, this is a picture of me playing Mahjong. That's just what the emote is in sort of a broad sense. I feel like her boobs look slightly more reasonable in this emote than in some of the other emotes, which is nice. Her boobs also look slightly more reasonable than they do on the main image.
They do.
They look like they're pressing against the fabric and creating tension so that they don't like burst apart at the slightest touch of a fairy.
Hey, don't call her lovers that.
We'll get to her numbers. We're almost at our Kinsey scale, but not quite yet, so please.
Sorry. I couldn't resist.
Anyway, I guess we're there now, because that's basically, that's Callan Kozuki.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Actually, like, I enjoyed looking at her basically the whole way through.
Yeah. Sick. Happy for her.
Sick. Yeah. Happy for me, honestly.
Happy for us.
Nice. Yeah, happy for us. The first image was the least exciting one, but it's
naturally
fine.
It's a school uniform.
It's a school uniform.
I kind of wish they would stop doing this, but it's all right.
They keep doing fucking mech animes are basically magical girl animes, except you get into a mech instead of turning into a different. And they keep doing like magical girl ass fucking crossovers in which characters, are notably schoolgirls, and then that needs to contrast with them transforming into their powered up version. And so I understand why one would be sort of pigeonholed into having the school uniform. I mean, we talked about this as early as like Miyu. I understand why you are pigeonholed into having the school uniform, because like then the appeal of the bond up becomes that you do the transformation from the show. My main problem with a lot of these crossover characters and their school uniforms, especially compared to like the school uniform fucking characters in the main game, even like as early as hang on, I'm just grabbing a random early woman from the game off the wiki. I don't remember her name. It will load. Even as early as like Nana Shiraishi. Like she's just wearing a school uniform, but she also has like I guess I also could be talking about KR
976.
976, thank you. But also, like, Nana Shirayashi, for example, a very early character from the game from 2019, is just wearing her school uniform, more or less, but she has, like, fucking posing. She isn't just, like, standing upright. And it feels like they keep doing this.
Yeah, it's just a standing position. It doesn't have a prop. It doesn't have anything.
It doesn't have a prop. It doesn't have a pose. And we've seen this in, like, all 3 of the crossover characters we've done. And I think it's fine to have them in their school uniform, but I don't understand also why they just stand there and are long. Or in Miyu's case, stand there and are short. It's very, very bizarre to me. Genuinely. I don't know why they do this. And they don't. I'm peeking at, like, future things also, but it's just like I need some kind of comparison. They don't do this in, like, every case also. Like, the Kakagurui default skins are just, like, in their school uniforms, but they have a lot more posing and character and stuff. Granted, it's Kakagurui, and it's the most physically expressive anime that's ever existed. But still, like, you know, if you look just like at Mary, aka Mary
I'm looking
Satome,
at her right now. Unprompted.
Yeah, she has pose and character, and also she's about to eat a Ricci stick, a classic Mahjong Soul activity. And, like, I don't understand why. I guess in theory, if I'm being generous, which I don't have to be, because it's our podcast. Well, it's Ash's podcast, but it's our podcast. You know, her sort of, like, default schoolgirl thing could be her being this sort of, like, demure, fucking pretend fake British nice girl, but she isn't even doing that, because she's not doing any kind of, like, her posing on this, as much posing as exists. I did not expect to be talking this long about this. As much posing as exists in this image in default Kallen Kozuki, is that she is very closed off, and she is very, like, she looks like she is mad at you and judging you, which is part of her character. But, like, if they wanted to contrast her in, like, British schoolgirl mode with her in, like, angry mech pilot mode, why isn't she doing, like, an appealing pose? Why isn't she, like, sipping a cup of tea while she, like, smiles?
Oh, she totally could be sipping a cup of tea.
You know, why isn't she, like, holding her hand out and being like, let's be friends? And then in the next image, she's like, JK, I'm ripping up my chains from the earth. You know?
Yeah, I do know. I know.
Yeah, like, I don't, and this has been the case for literally all of the crossover characters we've looked at.
Yeah, it sucks.
Some of which are very recent. I mean, all 3 of these crossovers are some of their more recent crossovers.
Yeah.
And it's very strange to me. Why do this? Why be boring when you clearly have the capability to not be boring?
I just don't know.
Understand. I just don't know. Anyway, I guess that's my rant about default Kallen Kozuki, like, 1 hour after we've stopped talking about her.
But importantly, Ivy, how cute is she? It's time to do numbers.
An actual segue in this fucking podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I have, like, a billion tabs open of other women that I was looking at for comparisons, but I have to find her again.
How cute is she? Not very. I mean, cuteness is part of her, like, switching between demure and feisty thing, but, like, inherently she's not that cute.
No. She is, like, she's not cute, but is, like, pretending to be cute, but maybe even not. I mean, I haven't seen the show, but my impression from, like, her voice lines and stuff is that
she's not doing a very good job.
She's not very good at it, so, like, I think at most she's got to be a 1.
Yeah, I was gonna go with 2 originally, less. But you've convinced me to a 1.
I'm sort of building kind of like a model in my head for various numbers. In that, like, a lot of my metrics sort of come down to, like, you get, for cute and appealing, you get points for trying to be cute and appealing, and then you also get points for being cute and appealing whether you like it or not. This is why Fuji has really high numbers, because she's both trying to be cute and trying to be appealing, and is successfully cute and is successfully appealing. This is why KR976 has middle numbers, because she's not particularly trying to be cute or trying to be appealing. She's kind of trying to be appealing in her own weird little fucking, like, you know, autistic little queer kid way. But like, she is being those things regardless, and so she ends up with kind of middle numbers. You know?
Yeah. It's our previous one cutes. It's hilarious that you have this list and that Gregor is on it. Because I was gonna say, our previous one cutes are Lily and Gregor Samsa from Olympus Company.
I can't believe... I guess I can understand why Lily is one cute. Okay, I understand.
Yeah,
Lily is one
she's
cute.
She's spec'd into appealing.
She's spec'd into appealing. She's also just, like, the most adult woman who's ever adult
absolutely.
Woman.
I think based on the metric that we have, which is, like, Kozuki is falling in between Miyu and Nanaha. That's reasonable. That's right where we want her to be, I think.
Yeah. Well, I think Kozuki is cute one for the opposite reason that I was about to say something about Gregor, but then I stopped myself. The other reason that, like, Lily is, because Lily is trying to be at least a little bit cute, but she is also just the most adult woman who has ever adult woman. Like, enter her fucking.
She's not. She's not cute. She has power over you.
Yeah. She has power over you in the streets, and she has power over you in the sheets. And, like, fucking Kozuki is, like, trying to be cute and is just failing, but she's trying nonetheless. So I'll throw her a point.
Yeah. Appealing.
Great question.
We've really loved her this episode in terms of, like, looking good. So it's got to be up there.
If this is the episode in which we are sort of talking about numbers and like the purpose of numbers, I do feel like appealing is kind of our most flexible sort of feelings first stat. In that, like, we have at times given people appealing for, like, being appealing in a very conventional way, and then taken away appealing for being not appealing in a very conventional way. And then we've also given people appealing for being appealing in an unconventional way that we just like. But, like, we specifically gave Gregor 0 appealing because the game tells us that he is disgusting.
He's disgusting.
Despite the fact that he is very appealing to both of us.
We gave Miyu 0 appealing, though, because even though she is being presented as so appealing, she is personally offensive to both of us.
Is Miyu being presented as appealing?
Yes.
Are we? I guess so. She's being presented as cute, certainly. Is she being presented as, like, someone who you would have fun hanging around with?
Well, if that's what we're calling appealing, then no.
Well, what are we calling appealing?
That's the point of the fucking bit. But, like, okay, so various definitions of appealing. Sex appeal. Or are they, the and/or, are they, like, a pleasant presence? And/or do they appeal to an audience of people? Those are my 3 major, like, appealing. Sex appeal is the most obvious, direct one. Appealing to
Lily
an audience.
Kitahara 6 appealing.
Appealing to an audience the audience can be us, and so KR976 is for appealing. And then, like, are they fun to be around is also why KR976 is for appealing. It's for sure, like, part of why Fuji is 6 appealing.
Right. We just need to, like, draw... we just need to, like... I just want to make sure that there is a line between cute and appealing, and that line is at least something, you know? That it isn't nothing. Yeah.
Kozuki has incredibly high appeal to me. Like a 5.
But she's also, like, distinctly kind of an asshole.
She's rough around the edges.
And you say as if this is an appealing thing about her, and you're not wrong. But no, I think. Hang on, I'm reading some voice lines. I'm thinking very hard. I haven't seen this show.
She's appealing in the way that they make her get in a bunny girl costume in the show. I want this to be on your mind.
But I think that, like, the way in which she is, I can meet you at 5 appealing. If that's where you want to be, I respect you. She's definitely appealing in the sense of, like, it would be... Been trying this episode not to think too hard about the fact that she's 17, just because age has been plaguing us so much.
Yeah.
And is sort of stressful.
It's everyone in this show is 17, and I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah. But, like, that being said, she is appealing in the sense that it does seem fun. Like, she seems like she would be fun to, like, go to a bar with. Or, like, in a slightly more broad age thing, to, like, go to karaoke with. You know, a sort of, like, rough around the edges kind of activity.
She's like, you know, she's socially conscious. She's part of the resistance.
That's appealing to me.
She's a comrade. She can hang. That's appealing.
I can meet you at 5 appealing if that's where your heart lies.
Do you want it lower?
Well, the thing is that, like, I could just see appealing being lower because, like, if we're attributing this part of her that is, like, pretending to be a good British schoolgirl to cute, the other part of her is, like, being kind of a fucking asshole, actually. And, like, that is not necessarily conventionally appealing in the same way that being kind of like a bug dad is not conventionally appealing.
Honestly, you could sell me on 4, but not for that reason. But just because she's bad at being cute. The idea that she has an act that she puts up and she's really shit at it is, like...
That's not what I'm saying.
I know it's not what you're saying, but it could convince me to take her down an appealing point. Just that, like, the idea that she's bad with people, or, like, bad at manipulating people, bad at being around people, this is possible to me.
Well, she's good at being around bears, so we can think about that.
Is it appealing to be around bears?
I'm
gonna let you take the call on this one. It's 4 or 5. That's the range I've set.
I was looking at the list of other people to see where other people lie, but I don't think I should do that too much. I should just go with my heart. I think 5 appealing is too close to, like, a Fuji-esque, like, she's just, like, sort of like a shining fucking thing to be around, you know? I think 4, again, lower numbers are not worse. This doesn't mean you're a worse person. I think, like, 4 appealing more essentially captures that she is, like, fun to be around, but, like, you do have to constantly be careful that you're not getting into a fight with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can live with that. More than, or 5 is more than incidentally. Incidentally appealing.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh. Incidentally more appealing than not.
Mm-hmm.
3 is equally unappealing and appealing.
Mm-hmm.
I guess every part of this scale now just works like the Kinsey scale.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Uh-huh. This is a good bit. Speaking of the Kinsey scale.
Yay!
I don't know things about this show.
It's been a long time since I watched this show. I watched it when I was really young.
Archive of our own.
I don't think that she has a major romantic subplot. But I could totally be forgetting.
Control F, Code Chaos.
Mm-hmm. You'll have more luck on Wattpad, TBH.
I don't know how to navigate Wattpad.
Okay,
sorry.
well, sorry for your loss.
Relationships. Is she in any of these?
Oh, sorry, she's the romantic interest of the main character, my bad. I fully forgot. She has a tumultuous relationship with the main character.
Wow, there's a lot of MM on the Code Geass AO3.
Oh yeah, that's just because it's like that's just how it is.
Is this about Soup Boys?
Yes. Meh. I don't know if anything in the show can give me any insight into this. She just has an... I am married to the bit that I did about her lovers being women.
Because I offhandedly said the word fairy?
Yep. I am married to at least a 4. But it could go higher. I believe in a 5.
Threatening voice.
I believe in a 5.
I think that fucking... She's got, Ash.
Mm-hmm.
We're both familiar with the experience of being a faggot.
Mm-hmm.
Just reminding everyone that we can say bad words on this show. I think this is a fun thing about this show.
Yeah, we know about sort of fag-dyke activities.
Yeah. I'm fondly reminiscing about the first episode in which I broke the ice of saying cunt.
Mm-hmm. Cunt!
Cunt.
Now a major part of me and Ivy's relationship outside of this show.
Is the word cunt.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fondly reminiscing about you just DMing me pussy in all caps out of nowhere.
You understand why I did that, though, right?
Oh, I do, but the audience doesn't need to know.
Okay, great. Please, on task.
On task. And, like, truly is not this, like, thing of, like, having to be a nice British schoolgirl when, like, inside you're a freak with freaky hair. Like, is this not it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that what it is?
It is.
So
you're saying it's a 5.
The fact that you can only feel like yourself and you can only, like, let out your true emotions when you're around bears?
I like this. I like the fag-dyke solidarity implied.
I've brought it all around.
Mm-hmm.
You all thought the whole bear bit was for nothing. It was for this all the whole time.
It's hilarious to me, the idea that we plan anything in advance on this show.
Yeah, like, bro, we don't even know what we're doing next episode. And next episode, we're recording on my birthday. That's fucked up.
It is.
I'm so scared of this random button.
Mm-hmm. Is it a 5? Are we doing a 5?
Oh, it's a 5.
Okay,
Sorry,
great.
did I not? Great. So, 145. That's fun. 145 is fun.
145 is fun.
145 is sort of how I feel about myself.
Not cute. Incidentally appealing. More than incidentally a dyke.
Uh-huh.
I see.
It's more that I'm like, anyway, we don't have to talk about this.
Okay.
It's more that it more goes the other ways in that I am like only occasionally incidentally not a dyke.
I see.
But only incidentally. But like Kinsey doesn't know.
Kinsey doesn't know. The fuck does Kinsey know? This is our scale. We call it numbers.
Yeah. We call it numbers and nothing else.
You should start streaming your page to me so we can hit the random button.
Uh-huh. Do I get any birthday allowances? If
Yes,
this
you do.
One sucks.
You do.
Oh, what are my birthday allowances?
Your birthday allowances are, we discussed this earlier, didn't we? Did we decide? I'm looking. Birthday.
Hang on, sorry. I couldn't hear you for a second because of Discord reasons.
We discussed this.
Well, the thing is that, like, in the last episode, what we said was that, like, if we random someone good, I could hold them for my birthday. But that is no longer the situation we are in. So, what is my birthday allowance?
We discussed this in DMs earlier, and we could do something else if this is not the vibe. But the allowance that we discussed was, if the guy that we roll sucks, then we'll hold them until after your birthday, and we'll do a Limbus episode on your birthday, and we'll talk about Rojo.
Uh-huh. I would rather do a Mahjong Soul guy on my birthday.
You get one reroll then.
Okay. And we just, like, hold the first guy so as to not break the pattern.
The integrity.
Okay, great. I get one reroll, so I do have to think really hard, because, like, I could roll and then and have it be sort of mediocre and then re-roll into something much worse, and then we're stuck there. Or do I get to pick between the two in that case?
You get to pick between the two in that case. But I don't want you to re-roll if you like the guy.
Okay, all right. This is
Honor
all
system.
fair.
Honor code.
I promise I will be honorable. I will hit the random button.
Okay, here we go. Yes!
Well,
happy fucking birthday!
Happy fucking birthday.
I'm assuming
Holy
you
shit.
want to do this one.
Yeah. God, I have so many thoughts
I
about
know
this
you
one.
do. I know you do.
Holy shit. I'm just gonna say something and then bleep it out.
Yes, of course.
Of course. Oh my god. Wow.
My roommates are gonna come knocking on my
Fantastic.
door any minute now. Like, why did you scream yes? This is the best timeline.
Uh-huh. I had a lot of weird... This podcast has such a weird effect on my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then I frequently, like, fantasize about episodes that we're going to, I guess, inevitably do eventually, but who knows when.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had so many... Let me just, like, go to the list and, like, point out some people I was thinking, like, I would go, wow, for my birthday. It includes, like, her and her.
Oh, yeah.
But also, like, her.
Yeah.
Because then, and also just, like, her would be really funny.
That'd be good.
Any of them, obviously.
For sure.
Her.
Mm-hmm.
And I, obviously, like, fucking her.
Oh, yeah.
Even, like, her.
I know nothing
even, like,
about
her, honestly.
Oh, yeah,
but, like,
yeah. I'm with you.
For some reason, I just didn't think of her.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't think of her. And it just, like, it's just perfect.
Now you have.
With, like, the plans we already had.
Now you have.
And now I have. Incredible. Well,
Perfect.
I guess we'll see you all next time for an episode that will not be released on my birthday, but will be recorded on my birthday, because I'm a freak who wants to do weird little podcasts on my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed that episode of the podcast we just recorded.
Let's go!
I thought it was good.
Good. Well, if you also thought that episode of the podcast was good, great. Glad.
Send us an ask on co-host. What should the ask say? Up to you, baby.
Up to you, baby. Goodbye.
Bye.
これが親衛隊隊長、光月カレンの実力だ。